difficult problems under the federal system is the adjustment of administrative relations between the union and the states. In the absence of clear provisions in the constitution, considerable difficulty is often experienced by the union and the states in the discharge of these responsibilities. The framers of the Indian constitution therefore decided to include detailed provisions so as to avoid clashes between the union and the states in the administrative field. Here again the pattern that is adopted is based mainly on that what has established under the Government of India Act of 1935. According to the constitution, the executive power of every state is to be exercised in such a way as to ensure compliance with the laws made by the parliament. Further, the union executive is empowered to give such discussions of a state as may appear to be the Government of India to be necessary for the purpose. The idea of the union giving directions to the states is foreign to most federations. It is looked upon the suspicion and distrust in the United States. In Australia too, the position is more or less the same, yet it is difficult to see how this can altogether be avoided in practice. If the centre did not have such power, it would become impossible to secure the proper execution of the laws which Parliament has obliged to enact. Take for instance laws such as untouchability abolition law, factory legislation, child marriage abolition law, etc. Not satisfied with the general power of the union to give directions to the states, the constitution goes a step further and calls upon every state not to impede or prejudice the executive power of the union in the state. If any union agency finds it difficult to function within a state, the union executive is empowered to issue appropriate directions to the state government to remove all obstacles. It is possible that by reasons of the special directions given by the centre, some extra cost above normal may be incurred by the states in the performance of the service. The constitution provides for compensating the states for the extra expenditure they incur on account of undertaking such tasks. The constitution also empowers the union executive with the consent of the government of a state to entrust to that government or its officers functions which fall within the scope of the union's executive functions. Parliament is also empowered in a similar manner to confer power or impose duties on state officers through any of its laws which has application in a state. The union government will pay to the state the cost involved in the discharge of such functions by the state or its officers. Another provision that facilitates the smooth transaction of administrative business is embodied in the constitution. According to this, full faith and credit shall be given to public acts, records and judicial proceedings of the union and the states in all parts of the Indian territory. The manner to which these acts and records will be proved and their effect determined will be proved by parliamentary enactments. Provision is also made for the execution of final judgments or orders delivered or passed by civil clerks in any part of India. The constitution has an important provision embodied in it dealing with the waters of interstate rivers and river valleys. Aware of the unending interstate disputes over this subject in other federations, particularly the United States, the constitution maker decided that the power to deal with this subject should be vested exclusively in the parliament. Thus, parliament may by law provide for the adjudication of any dispute or complaint with respect to the use, distribution or control of the waters of any interstate river or river valley. Parliament may also provide that neither the Supreme Court nor any other court shall exercise any jurisdiction in respect of any such dispute or complaint. Finally, to facilitate smooth working of the administrative machinery of the country as a whole, as well as to ensure the better coordination of policy and action between the union and the states or between the states themselves, the constitution empowers the president to appoint an interstate council whenever the necessity is felt. The president is empowered not only to establish such a council but also to determine its organization and procedure and to define the nature of its duties. So far, no such council has been established.